Night has fallen and you're weary from travel. Stars fill the sky above. You walk toward the house. You sit down and join the game. It's a cheap. The lady fiddling with dice gets good cards, but has no real strategy. The man to your right seems to... The man in gray across from you, though. One by one, the other players... Finally, it's just you and the man in gray. He deals, you draw, and look at your hand. But the man in gray pushes forward his whole pile. You're not... The man in gray stops you. Now, if you like, I'll let you wager your word. I know you'll be good for it. Yep. 10, Jack, Queen, King. The man in gray smiles. All right.
Well, your luck wasn't so good, was it? That's quite the hand, but not for the game we're playing. You see, this land is built on stories. It's one big story, this country. All the stories and songs and myths and legends start somewhere, with a seed. To pay your debt to me, you'll be carrying stories. Most of the stories you'll find will be small seeds. They might be. The more important stories are the more true stories you can find and tell, the more you can weave that truth into the big story. Tana, now, go ahead. You tell me a story. Travel? That's your job. Wander from place to... People get bored hearing the same stories over and over. You sometimes have to make choices about what kind of story you'll find. Don't gather too many of one kind, though. This... Your deepest desires, your greatest wish, heaven, big rock candy mountain. Well, I don't know where. It's supposed to be somewhere in this country. They're all searching. It's just luck. Funny how bad luck seems to follow the folk. Well, try your luck out there. It's not all bad. Not many. I'll strip away your flesh to make the journey easier. But hunger, weariness, thirst, and death, yes. Go on your way, seeker. Either way, I'm jealous in some. I hope you find what you're looking for.
Left my space.
ransacked. There's furniture piled in the front yard. Ammunition. The two heavily armed, mud-caked women leaning over the porch railing share the same bored grin. One shouts at you. One of the women wrinkles her nose in disappointment. The other raises a rifle, levels it at you, and
well, I'm gonna cast my stones o'er the waters of this land, and by I'll see them far and long. 'Cause when the night come down for to take me hand in hand, this will be my tale, my vagrant song. This will be my tale, my vagrant song.
off the road and into the woods, you can't help but come across this package by the old tree, tied to a sturdy stick. The shape gives a start.
Please don't tell my pa that I'm in here. Pa doesn't want to live with us anymore. But I want to go with him. Don't tell him, please. I'm hiding.
His father must have been here at some point, but you sure can't see him now.
Please go. He's coming back any minute.
They don't come every year, you know. The old man is sitting at the edge of a rotting old pier. Crooked, they seem to wait for something together. Fidgeting and he watches them fly away until their bodies are done. The woman walks the small town square with the poise of Betty Davis. You question a well-dressed man parked outside an oyster house. Prudish woman. You talk with a waitress smoking outside a diner.
Something funny.
You ask the woman if you may join her at a public bench.
You may. Lovely outside.
See storm clouds on the horizon, and at the top of an ornate wrought iron spiral, looks like we got a visitor. Sounds like a man's voice. After a moment, the door unlatches from the inside and opens. Despite the rough exterior, this room looks like a well-appointed parlor. There's a rug on the well-trod wooden floor and an enormously plush couch.
Oh, we manage.
The tall one sits on the... You wake up the next morning on their old sofa, still... This city is like no other you've been to. Crooked streets splay. Unable to afford rescue, you keep walking. It's hard finding your way through in pitch darkness. You quiet yourself, suddenly fearful. When you come to, there's no sign of the dusty truck and a man on horseback pull up. The man with the truck leaps into the street.
Brother!
Everyone here is watching these two older men cry and hug one another in the middle of Main Street. Cars and wagons. As you usher them onto the sidewalk, the drivers
Hey there, stranger. You're welcome to enjoy this. This here is my spot, and I ain't inclined to share it with you. These here are my venturing. I usually beat my way on the rail. I'm in the mood for something real. I sure was a downer. Give me a good venture tale instead any day. Freedom. Teacher used to talk about freedom. Ain't no freedom from an empty stomach or bad weather, unless you're rich. Hey, tell me one of those exciting stories.